Hey beauties, it's Nikea here. I'm here with the first video in my beginning makeup series. So I had a request from someone to do like step-by-steps of what to do with makeup, Mommy. Especially for someone who really doesn't know what to do. Mommy. And I have my co-host Harper here with me. Y'all can't see her. Harper, say hi. Hi. So y'all might hear her in the background, but I had this request from someone else and I thought that this was a really good idea because like back in the day, like YouTube used to have a lot of tutorials like step-by-step on really how to do stuff, and not just people like doing looks and doing reviews. And even now when I go on YouTube like looking for certain things, I can't find them. So I really thought this was a good idea to do like a step-by-step on like how I do certain things in my makeup looks, and to like really help people who like don't have a clue or just really want some more in-depth. So I'm gonna do my best to be very specific and really talk through instructions and be as detailed as possible. And the end result and my hopes is that it really helps someone out. I hope that it helps someone out and encourages people who want to try makeup, who may be a little afraid, to go ahead and try it and experiment. And makeup is really, it's all about experimenting. It's all about what looks good to you. You're gonna find people out there that say, this is the right way to do it, this is the wrong way to do it. Honestly, in my opinion, with makeup, there's no wrong way to do it. If you like it, if it looks good to you, then that's what you should do. If it's aesthetically pleasing to you, then that's what you should do. Now, the way that I do my makeup is not the way that someone else may do their makeup. Someone else may say this makes me look bad or makes me look this way. If I like it, then that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just gonna show you my techniques, what I like to do, and you can take from it what you may and tweak it and make it work for you. But I'm just gonna show you my best practices. But before we get into this first tutorial, I want you to go ahead down below, click that subscribe button and click that bell notification button so that you never miss when I post. All right, whew, that was a lot of talking. Let's get into it. All right, I wanted to bring y'all in close because today's video is all about the brows. That's all I'm gonna be doing in this video. And I want this to be the first one because brows is the first thing that I do in all of my makeup looks. Every single look, brows are the first thing. My philosophy behind doing brows first is like, just in case I don't get to anything else in my makeup for some odd reason, at least my brows are done, I'm good to go. The other thing is that I feel like brows like frame your face, because I could do like a bomb makeup look, bomb eyeshadow, but if my brows are messed up, then it just goes down the hole from there. Okay, so I always start with my brows, and there's only a few tools that I use on the regular. So there's many types of products you can use for your brows. You can use a brow pencil, you can use a brow gel, you can use brow powder, you can use a brow pomade. There's even products that have like a mascara type wand that you can use to fill in your brows. It's just all your preference, whatever works for you. Now, personally for me, I've used gel and I've used pencils and I've used powder. But I think my favorite I always go back to is the brow pencil, and that's what I'm gonna be showing you how to use today. But what I want you to focus on is the technique, because with any product you can use this technique that I'm going to show you today. So for brows, I suggest using a pencil that is maybe a shade or two lighter than your hair. I typically go towards a brown or a dark brown, and this is Simma brown now, and this pencil is from Wet n Wild. This is actually an eyeliner, but it's from Walmart. It's inexpensive. To shape and define my brows, I use a concealer. This is the LA Girl Pro Concealer, and this is in the color Toffee. And again, for concealer, and this is used as a highlighting concealer, and I like to use something that's like more yellow to pick up in those undertones in my skin. Highlight, you want it to stand out, and that's only going to go under my brows. And this is like a shade or two lighter than my skin tone. So I just want to look at my undertones in my skin, and that's going to pick up that. The tools that I use, I always use angle brushes. So I have a large synthetic brush and a medium and a small natural hair brush, and they're angled. And I like for them to be a little more stiff. There we go. Camera, there we go. And I like for my angle brushes to be like a little more stiff. Then of course you have a brush and a comb for your eyes. My spoolie. Then I also have some concealer that is actually closer to my complexion. And then some optional things that you can have and that I have on deck are, I have this Benefit Give Me Brow product. But I have this clear mascara, which I use as my brow gel, or you can get a brow gel. And I also have a pointed foundation or concealer brush. Okay, so this may seem like a lot for brows, but really on a daily basis, I just use my pencil, I use my concealer, and my brushes. And that's it. So let's go ahead and get started. This is how my brows look without any product. I haven't brushed them or anything. I actually like the shape of my brows, the natural shape that they are. I just wish that they were a little fuller. I haven't had my eyebrows done since 2014. So I haven't gotten them waxed, plucked, tweezed, or anything. And I just really don't feel the need for it because I like the natural shape of them. Like if I had to go out the house like this, I would, that's fine. Yeah, so I like the natural shape of them. And yeah, and I fill them in almost every day. Take my brush, and all I'm going to do, I'm not focused, okay. All I'm going to do is just brush the hairs in the same direction. All right, there you go. There's no special trick to that. Just brush them in the same direction. All right, my next step is to fill them in. Like I said, I use a pencil. You wanna make sure that your pencil is sharp. This pencil is already sharp because it is new. Okay, so it's already sharp. But before we get to filling in, you want to know where your brow, where the head of your brow is gonna start. So this is the head of your brow, where the arch is, and where the tail of your brow is supposed to go. All right, so you wanna know where the head of your brow, which is the beginning, is gonna start. You don't wanna bring it in too far and have a unibrow unless that's what you're going for. You wanna know where it's actually going to arch at, if that's what you want. And then you want to know where it's going to end or where the tail is, because you don't wanna drag your brows all the way out here, unless that's your goal. But I'm just going for an everyday, average run-of-the-mill brow. Now there's different shapes that you can go for, but I always go for a slightly angled brow with an arch, okay? But for everyone, a good way to measure where your brows are going to start, I'm gonna use my makeup brush, but your brow should start here from your inner tear duct, and we're just going to go, you know, like a slight little slant from here, okay? And see, my natural brow is only a little bit off, okay? And then you are going to go over your pupil and diagonal from like the bridge, the tip of your nose. That's where my arch should be. So it's actually kind of like at my temple, which is another measuring point. So there's my arch, and then my tail, gonna angle it one more time. See where that outer corner of my eye? That's where the tail should be, okay? So you have your points. You have one, or actually, yeah, one. I like to angle mine out just a little bit, or you can go straight up and down. 1, 2, 3. And you can actually mark those points with your pencil. You know, if this is your first time or you're just not sure, you can mark them. But since I've been doing my eyebrows so long, I kind of know where they are. But just for those who are beginning, so you could take your pencil, all right, mark where you want those points to be. See? My arch point. And then my tail point. Okay, just points of reference. All right, and if you need to use something, you can use another color to help it stand out more. If you like a white pencil, I don't have one of those on hand right now, but you can see those are my 3 points. This is where my brow is going to start, this is where it's going to arch, and this is where it's going to end. Now when you're filling in your brows, another tip is at the head of your brow, you want it to be a little lighter, because you can naturally see, like you see my brows are naturally lighter at the head. They get a little thicker in the middle, and then they fade out again at the tail. Okay, if you're going for a natural looking brow. Now if you are going for, like, you know what I call this, Sharpie brow, if you want to fill it in one shade all the way, that's fine. That's totally up to you, whatever floats your boat. Okay, but for a natural looking brow, you want it filled in a little bit lighter at the head, thicker in the middle where the arch is, and lighter at the tail, because that's just how a natural brow looks if that's what you're going for. Now sometimes when I'm going for like a full glam, I will fill my brow in a lot heavier, but that's just how I'm feeling that day. Now thickness is totally up to you. If you want really thick brows, you can make them super thick. I like to make mine just a little bit thicker than my natural brow is. So you're gonna take your product, whatever you decide to use, whether it's pencil, whether it's gel, whether it's powder. The only difference is with gel and the powder, you're gonna be using your angle brush to draw it on. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my pencil, and I'm going to draw a line at the bottom of my brow, okay? So what I like to do is I like to like scrunch my face up, and then I can like see where my arch is. It helps me, okay? I can do brows on other people without them doing this, but when I do my own brows, I have to do this so I can see where my arch is. All right, so I'm just gonna go in with light strokes, okay? I'm not just gonna just draw a line, okay? So light strokes. Okay, see that? Got the bottom done, and I'm gonna do the same thing up top. And I'm actually going a little bit above where my natural brow is. And I'm really following the shape of my brow. Okay, now there's 2 ways that you could go from here. With this, you can take your angle brush and you can just swipe the product up and fill in your brow, because you have product there. See, like I just did, I'm just taking my angle brush, swiping it up, and also swiping it down. Okay, and then you see how like the head of my brow is looking a little crazy? You don't need to add any more product. I'm just using what I have there and going forward to where I put that first dot to fill in the head of that brow. Now I'm not liking this shape right here, so I'm gonna go a little bit lower and fill some more brow in there. And see, I like to do brows first just in case I mess up, because I can really like use my fingers. You see I'm getting rid of that excess product there. Now don't freak out if you don't have the exact shape that you want at this point, because that's what the concealer is for. Because this right now looks super crazy. Super, super crazy. And then just going to like feather it out. See, I'm just taking my brush with light strokes, and I'm using the large synthetic angle brush. So that's the first brow. We'll come back. All right, so same thing over here. Draw that line. Okay, so I drew my lines, as you can see, but now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my pencil to fill it in, okay? So you can do the same thing, so just light strokes. So you don't want it to be too heavy, and especially when you get towards the front. And see, actually this method turned out better than this one. Because this is what I typically do every day, but I wanted to show y'all. So that's more defined, and that's what I like. I like me a good snatched brow, okay? But we're still gonna go in with that large synthetic angle brush, and we're just gonna blend it out just like we did over here.
Mommy.
And you see how the The head of my brow is still lighter. It gets a little fuller in the middle. And I'm gonna take the angle brush in and drag the tail out. This one looks so much better. No worries though. All right, now it's time for the concealer. You've got your brows on, okay? My brows I don't stress about because I do them every day. They don't come out perfect. And another thing, your brows are not gonna look exactly alike. Your brows are sisters, they're not twins, okay? And you saw my natural brows, they didn't look the same. They're not going to. They're sisters, not twins, okay? Say it with me. They're sisters, not twins, okay? So even if I would have done the same method on both brows, they still wouldn't look exactly the same. I feel like this brow is always a little more defined than this one. Because this brow has like a little more round shape and this brow actually has more of an arch naturally. Okay, so now we're just going to sculpt and define our brows. And I'm gonna take my LA Pro concealer. And you can use the same angle brush that you use for your brows. I would just suggest wiping them off. But I actually like using the natural hair one. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of concealer, squeeze it out, which I'm running low. And I'm just going to get it on that angled tip of the brush. And then just like you did with the pencil when you, or whatever product you use, just like I just did, you're gonna just draw the shape of your brow underneath. And this is a good time to help you clean up anything. Like at the front of my brow, there's a little excess down here. I'm just gonna cover that up with concealer. And again, at this point, I really like to arch my brows so that I can see where my arch is. And that really helps define the shape of your brow. Now, I see a lot of people who use this sculpt and define method and they use so much product, which is not necessary. It really isn't. Like if this product, you're just taking it, shaping your brows, and then you're just blending it down, blending it out and blending it down. And you don't need a lot of product because what you blend extends. What you put up there is gonna go further than where you put it. As you can see, I just put concealer under my brow bone and it's already going down to right here in that area where I would put like my transition color. OMG. You can use a little more because your concealer can be used as a shadow base. Like I've seen people like take their concealer all the way over here. To me, that's not necessary. I feel like it's a waste of product. And see, I'm just using that same brush to blend it out. And you can also use your fingers. I like to do that sometimes. And oh my God, did y'all see how this brow looked before? I'm gonna put insert the before. Okay, go back to that. And now look. See, just with the concealer, it's more definition. It's looking like this brow now. Now I'm gonna do the same thing on the other brow. And then blend it down. Any excess product that's right under your brow, just go up there and just bring it down. And in regards to products, I think like if you want a natural lighter brow, I would definitely suggest like using a powder. The gel gives you a more defined brow, a little bit of a heavier brow. For me, the pencil is like right in the middle and you can kind of go either way with the pencil. And just for me, the pencil gives you a little more control and a little more leeway. All right, so now I've got that concealer blended. Y'all, this brow is snatched, okay? I look like I done got microbladed, shaded, and threaded, waxed, and tweezed and plucked. All right, so we have our eyebrows on, we have our shape. Now this next step I typically don't do, but I am showing you all, like if I'm going for like super glam and you want even more definition on your brows, you can define the top portion of your brow. Only thing about this is you don't want to highlight this part of your brow. Now you can use a highlighting concealer, but if you do, you want to go back over it with your foundation when you put your foundation on. But sometimes I'll do my brows and I won't wear foundation. I'll just do brows, mascara, concealer, and I don't want to see like a line on the top of my brow, even though I used to do that back in the day. So that's where this concealer comes in hand. I'm gonna take this shade right here and I'm gonna use the same brush that I used for under my brow, and I'm just going to swipe it in there. And I literally just counted 10 times to swipe it. All right, and I'm going to define the top of my brow. And then I'm just going to Do the same thing I did below, swipe it out. And for this part, you can use like a concealer brush. And your brows are done. Y'all, you have done your brows, okay? But one more thing is to take a spoolie brush like this, and you just want to go through and brush through your brows, and that helps get rid of any excess product. Now you don't have to be heavy, you're just doing this, you know, lightly. Make sure your hairs are all going in the same direction, and also get rid of any excess product. Okay, and that also helps to blend out the front. You wanna make sure that's a little bit lighter. And one final step, I don't really do this often, but like if you just have issues with your brows moving or makeup moving on your face, you can set them in place with a brow gel or Get Clear mascara. This is super mascara, it's waterproof from Ruby Kisses. You can get this from like beauty supplies. But you're just gonna take it, and same thing with the spoolie that you did with the spoolie brush. Just wipe it through your brows. You can just take your large synthetic brush if you need to go back and like spread some product around, or you feel like you need to fill in anything. And like this up front, this little weird piece needs to be blended out. I don't wanna have any harsh lines. All right, y'all, and that is Brows 101. That's how I do my brows. I hope that I was detailed enough, and I hope that I helped you all out. All right, so this is just the first video in my beginners how to makeup 101. So make sure that you turn on those notifications, be on the lookout, subscribe so that you can see the next video in this series. Because next we're gonna be talking about foundation, the different types of foundation, the different applications for foundation, and how to match foundation for your skin. I am by no means an expert. I'm just giving y'all tips, hints, suggestions to help you survive in this makeup world. So now you can go out, you got your brows done, you good, you can go, honey. You don't need nothing else. All right, so that's the end. Thank you so much for watching, but before you go ahead down below and click that subscribe button, and right next to that, click that bell notification button so that you never miss when I post, and check out my videos on my end screen, and I'll definitely be seeing the next one, beauties. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
You gonna give them a kiss? Give mommy a kiss.